doubled down on their concerns regarding the appointment of Weath Lawrence as Acting Director of Corruption Prosecution at the Integrity Commission. Their latest concerns come in a second letter sent to the chairman of the commission, retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick. The letter is also copied to Governor General Sir Patrick Allen. It's the latest salvo in the government's escalating objection to the appointment of the close friend of PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell to a sensitive post within the commission. Robian Williams reports.
Edmund Bartlett and Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, in their latest letter, told retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick that they don't wish to engage in an unending series of responses and counter-responses. But they maintain that they're of the view that the matters raised in her letter, which came following their initial expression of concern, are of sufficient public interest to warrant further comment. The government parliamentary leaders wrote that regarding the issue of Weath Lawrence, his close friendship with the PNP General Secretary and potential conflict of interest, they very humbly and respectfully remind the Integrity Commission chairman of the decision of former Chief Justice Lord Hewitt in R versus Sussex Justices. The 1924 case is known as the authority on the principle of justice not only needing to be done, but also to be seen to be done. Mr. Bartlett and Senator Johnson-Smith noted that in that case, even the absence of direct evidence and/or confirmation of interference, circumstances where justice did not appear to be done were fatal to a judicial decision being upheld. The government parliamentary leaders wrote that so particularly powerful is the quasi-judicial role in which Mr. Lawrence now acts, they maintain their view that his appointment in the context of his publicly acknowledged close and 20-year friendship was strenuously adverse JLP General Secretary at minimum rulings of the Commission to unnecessary suspicion. Bartlett and Johnson-Smith told Justice Lawrence Beswick that they hope both she and the Commission might, on reflection, elect to be guided by Lord Hewitt's wise postulation concerning the danger of not mitigating against circumstances which could support the suspicion of justice not appearing to be done. Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Edmund Bartlett and Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith are describing as surprising the Integrity Commission chairman's call for evidence in order to trigger an inquiry into reports that at least two former senior officials at the commission had come under undue pressure from colleagues to act inappropriately. According to the government parliamentary leaders, retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick might agree that the provision of proof in advance has never been the acceptable standard when applied to the start of an investigation by a body such as the Integrity Commission. They say this is especially so where an inquiry is made regarding damning allegations in the public space. The lawmakers, in their latest letter to Justice Lawrence Beswick, concluded that they are hopeful that upon further careful consideration, the Integrity Commission chairman might find that her making inquiries of relevant individuals is a process which could possibly bring her and the commission closer to determining the truth. Mr. Bartlett and Mrs. Johnson-Smith said such an approach, if adopted by the Integrity Commission chairman, is not only in the interest of ensuring public trust and confidence in the commission, but is also within her lawful authority.
The country's point-to-point inflation rate for Western Westmoreland, Dr. Garfield James, says he'll be working with the incumbent Member of Parliament, Moreland Wilson, to ensure the party retains the seat.
The fact is that the Member of Parliament has demonstrated that he's willing to work to ensure that the party's interests remain priority. So the process of continuing building capacity among the supporters will be the push that we do for the near future to ensure that we can retain the seat. Together with Member of Parliament and the work that he has started, the work that he's continuing to do, we will see how best we can revise aspects of the manifesto to ensure that the needs of constituents are met as best as possible.
Dr. James, who's currently councillor for the Sheffield Division, defeated MP Wilson in an internal selection exercise on Sunday. The JLP didn't release the final tally score following Sunday's exercise, but it's understood he won by only 4 votes. The move has left some Labourites upset. A handful of supporters gathered outside the constituency office on Tuesday to express their disapproval of Dr. James. The placard-bearing protesters claimed they'll withhold their votes unless MP Wilson is reinstated as candidate. Dr. James says he's willing and ready to unite with disgruntled supporters in the constituency.
There are some persons who are hurting in the sense that they did not get their choice, but it's a process of healing, and we are willing and ready to continue that process to ensure that at the end of the day it is one team. And I have no doubt that those protesters will at some point recognize the importance of the team effort that will be required. We all know that politics is not static in terms of representation, and at certain times changes must come. It might take some time for everyone to embrace it, but at the end of the day, the party's interests will always win.
Dr. Garfield James, a winner of Sunday's selection contest in Western Westmoreland, he'll be contesting the PNP's Ian Hales for the seat.
There are concerns regarding the appointment of Heath Lawrence as acting director of corruption prosecution at the Integrity Commission. And their latest concerns come in a second letter sent to the chairman of the commission, retired Justice Cllr Lawrence Beswick. And the letter is also copied to the Governor General, Sir Patrick Allen. And it's the latest salvo, listeners, in the government's escalating objection to the appointment of the close friend of the PNP General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell, to a sensitive post within the commission. And Siobhan, you have that letter with you this afternoon.
That's correct, Sanjay. It is to the Honorable Mrs. Cllr Lawrence Beswick, Chairman of the Integrity Commission, dated April 15th, 2025. It says, Madam Chair, we acknowledge receipt of your correspondence of April 14, 2025. Although we are certain that neither of us wishes to embark on an unending series of responses and counter-responses on this side, we are of the view that the matters raised are of sufficient public interest to require a response to yours. It says, 1. Regarding the issue of the acting corruption prosecution director, Mr. Heath Lawrence, his close relationship with PNP General Secretary and potential conflict of interest, we very humbly and respectfully remind of the sage decision of former Chief Justice Lord Hewitt in R.V. Sussex Justices 1924, to which is attributed the fundamental principle of justice not only needing to be done, but to be seen to be done. It says, in that case, even in the absence of direct evidence and or confirmation of interference, circumstances where justice did not appear to be done were fatal to a judicial decision being upheld. So, particularly powerful is the quasi-judicial role in which Mr. Lawrence now acts. We maintain our view that his appointment to act or otherwise in the context of his publicly acknowledged close and 20-year friendship with the strenuously adversarial PNP General Secretary at minimum risks opening rules by the Commission up to unnecessary suspicion. Risks opening rulings by the Commission up to unnecessary suspicion. It says, to the further context of the publicly held concerns also outlined in our letter of April 11, 2025, strengthen the cause for concern. We hope that your good self and indeed the Commission might, on reflection in respect of this matter, elect to be guided by Lord Hewitt's wise postulation concerning the danger of not mitigating against circumstances which could support the suspicion of interference and or justice not appearing to be done. Also, secondly, it says your response to a request for a probe into the media reports regarding alleged improper and or undue interference which reportedly contributed to the departure of 2 former senior staffers of the Integrity Commission is noted, but not without some surprise, as you might agree, that the provision of proof in advance has never been the acceptable standard applied to the commencement of an investigation by a body such as the Integrity Commission, where an enquiry is made regarding damning allegations in the public space. The letter ends by saying, we are hopeful that upon further careful consideration, you might find that making enquiries of relevant individuals is a process which could possibly bring you and the Commission closer to determining the truth in respect of both matters, and that such an approach is not only in the interest of ensuring public trust and confidence in the Commission, but but is also within your lawful authority. It says, again, Madam Chair, please accept the assurance of our highest consideration. And it is signed by both Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Leader of Government Business in the House of Representatives, and Senator the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, Leader of Government Business in the Senate.
Yeah, will be interesting, Siobhan, as we'll see if there will be a response from the Integrity Commission. But nonetheless, we have to move on to what we had originally planned for our cover story, and that is the Jamaica Labour Party has confirmed that it will refer Councillor Dr. Garfield James to its selection committee and central executive as the party's candidate in waiting for Western Westmoreland. This follows Sunday's internal selection exercise in which Dr. James secured the majority of votes in a contest against the sitting Member of Parliament, Moreland Wilson.
It's understood Dr. James got home by only 4 votes, listeners, and in a statement on Monday, JLP General Secretary Dr. Horace Chang thanked both Dr. James and MP Moreland Wilson for their engagement in the democratic process. Dr. Chang also expressed appreciation to the workers and delegates who turned out for the vote. The candidate selection process involved a constituency audit, polling, consultations, and a selection exercise.
Dr. James is among 2 former People's National Party councillors who joined the JLP after resigning in protest against the PNP's selection of Ian Hales as caretaker for the constituency. In the 2020 general election, MP Wilson secured 6,148 votes, defeating then PNP candidate Wickham McNeil, who polled 5,095 votes. The party is now expected to formally ratify Dr. James' candidacy through its central executive in the coming weeks ahead of the next general election.
In the meantime, listeners, the move to refer Dr. James to be the standard bearer has left some supporters of the incumbent MP upset. The group gathered outside the constituency office Tuesday morning, chanting and displaying placards. Several of them were clad in green t-shirts bearing a photo of Wilson. At least one woman in the group was clad in an orange shirt and was seen dancing. The placards read, "No Moreland, no vote. Moreland for Westmoreland, no James, and one Moreland." The protesters chanted, "No Moreland, no vote."
Well, Dr. James now joins us, and we must tell our team, or well, those listening, I beg your pardon, that our news center has placed several calls to Mr. Wilson, and messages to him have also gone unanswered. Good afternoon, Dr. James.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, as always. It was a very close race, and let me first congratulate you on winning. And since the results, we have seen protests from supporters of the sitting MP. Have you contacted Mr. Wilson or his supporters to begin this process of reconciliation?
Well, first, I want to say good afternoon to you and your listeners. I'm happy to be utilizing this opportunity to speak. The fact is, I want to commend the Member of Parliament, Moreland Wilson, for running a very spirited campaign. To date, he has ensured that he aligned himself with the guidelines that were provided to guide the process in terms of the selection. The fact is that in any process where democracy is alive and well, which requires a selection, there will be a winner and a loser. But at the end of the day, ultimately the party wins because the delegates and the workers have spoken. The fact is that all of us and the Member of Parliament has indicated that will at some point ensure that we fall in line to be one team, to ensure that it is the party's interest that is placed first, because the real objective here is to ensure that we position ourselves in terms of the organization of the party and the work that is left to be done, and ensure that we are able to win the Western Westmoreland seat for the Jamaica Labour Party.
Please stay with us, Mr. Dr. James. We are up on a break, and then we can come back to you.
Well, the candidate in waiting for the Jamaica Labour Party for Western Westmoreland, Dr. Garfield James. And just before the break, Dr. James, I was trying to understand if you have reached out to the sitting MP, Moreland Wilson, and his key supporters to start a process of reconciliation. Dr. James?
It looks
Dr.
like
James?
we lost
Yeah,
Dr.
lost
James,
him.
so we'll have to wait for him to come back. But I understand. Oh, okay, so Sanjay, it is interesting. The 4 votes separated the two gentlemen in that contest, and while a victory is a victory at the end of the day, I do see where you're going to most likely run into issues without that reconciliation when you have such a narrow margin splitting them apart. So at this point in time, the GLP is going to need to do some work on the ground. I would hope that the General Secretary and the party leader will take note of the situation and make their own interventions to see what they can do to bring all together in that constituency.
Especially in a constituency, Siobhan, of Western Westmoreland, where, based on my checks, the last time prior to Moreland Wilson winning this seat, the last time the JLP had that seat was in the 1980 general election. Now, we're not counting the 1983 snap elections because the PNP did not contest. But I gather we have Dr. James back with us. Dr. James, I'm trying to understand from you if you have reached out to Moreland Wilson and his key supporters since Sunday to start a process of reconciliation, considering that you only won by 4 votes.
The party's guidelines for the election was to secure simple majority, which means 50% plus 1.
Yes.
Having achieved that objective, which was the guideline, the fact is that a declaration was made, and in any contest, obviously there will be individuals who would be experiencing some form of disappointment.
I hear you, Dr. James, but with respect here, you said that earlier, but I'm just trying to get a simple understanding. Have you reached out to Moreland Wilson and his key supporters to start a process of reconciliation, considering that it was such a narrow victory?
Yes, that process of reaching out for reconciliation have been started. A series of activities have been planned to actually facilitate an opportunity for all members of the team to come together and to generate greater bonding. You will be actually hearing on your listeners about those planned activities in short order, as those activities will begin as early as this weekend.
And did you specifically speak to Mr. Wilson after the passing of this contest?
I have made attempts to do so, but I have been informed that he will be able to speak to me at a later date, as he had other pressing matters addressing. So the fact is the line of communication is open, and I want to use this opportunity to remind the constituents of Western Westmoreland that Moreland Wilson is still the Member of Parliament, will remain the Member of Parliament until such a time. However, as a Member of Parliament, he's actually the team leader of the team, and we will be working together to ensure that we bring the team together in every way to ensure that we are positioned in a strong way to ensure we can win the upcoming election.
And tell me, Dr. James, in that challenge to Mr. Wilson for the right to become the prospective candidate going into the next general elections, what were your concerns in terms of the party's ability to win under Mr. Wilson?
For me, there were no particular concerns. The fact is that representation requires hard work, dedication, and it requires a comprehensive reach. And where there is the school of thought that politics is not static, hence the democratic process was initiated, and other members of the team felt that there were concerns that could not go unanswered, hence the result of a contest. Being a member of the team and being selected, it is only fitting that we now move in one direction as a team, because the ultimate objective is to ensure that Western Westmoreland remains with the Jamaica Labour Party.
Which is important, Dr. James, for any political party that is looking towards the next general election. However, we have a voice note from Moreland Wilson. We're going to play that voice note, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
This is Moreland Wilson, MP for Westmoreland Western. It has been brought to my attention that my opponent is on national radio making statements that we have had discussions. I want to categorically state that this is a lie, and this is a continuation of the lies that has been spread throughout the campaign. And because of the continuation of these lies, I have no intention of having any discussion with this person.
Dr. James?
So you hear that, Dr. James?
Did you at any point indicate to any media house that you have reached out and spoken to Moreland Wilson?
Yes, I have done so, and I don't want to. Obviously, there's a process of healing that needs to take place.
No, that's
No,
important.
but Dr.
But
James,
hold on,
outright
Dr. James.
accused you of
Yes, of
quite
lying.
a strong allegation there.
Mm-hmm.
So you are indicating, Dr. James, that you did state on public radio that you reached out to Moreland Wilson and spoke with him. You're now saying that's not so. So did you lie?
No, I'm not saying that's not so. It's a fact that we have had dialogue. However, you know, I don't want to comment based on that voice note if it's coming from him, because obviously there might have been some change in terms of certain responses.
No, but you told me earlier when I asked you that you have tried reaching out to Moreland Wilson and you were unable to speak with him. So I'm a little bit confused. Did you or did you not have any conversation with Moreland Wilson?
Yeah, but at what point? After the elections? Or
yes, it would be after the election. That was the specific question that we asked.
After the elections, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I did have I did have a short conversation with him.
But he just said that that's not so, Dr. James. He just said in that voice note that you have lied. There was no conversation, but you are now saying that you had conversations with him?
I've said that, and I will repeat myself. He has made a statement. I've heard a voice note being played. So I would seek clarity from him to try and understand why that was stated as it was.
So you're now saying that Moreland Wilson is lying?
Let me ask.
Let me ask.
Dana, when specifically did you receive this voice note? How present is it?
And based on the sounding of the voice note, I will seek to clarify.
So, Dr. James, this voice note was sent to us by Mr. Wilson at 5:42 when this program started.
Repeat that for me, please.
This voice note was sent at 5:42 when this program started from Mr. Wilson himself. So I don't know if you can suggest it's a matter of miscommunication over some period.
I will seek clarity from him as it relates to that, but I will not be doing that on national radio.
But very well, I will accept that you don't want to do that kind of air those kind of dirty laundry on the area. But don't you believe, based on the statement by Mr. Wilson, that it is going to be a very long road ahead in terms of repairing the clear distrust and bitterness between the two camps?
Reconciliation is a must. The party's interest must come first, will come first, and whatever it takes, we will find the means and ways of mending the gaps to ensure that we are one team going forward in the next general election.
I want to be clear from you, Dr. James. Can you confirm that you actually had conversations with Moreland Wilson after that race within the constituency? I just want to hear from you very clearly.
No, I think I've addressed that already.
No, you haven't, because there seems to be some confusion.
Okay,
so I want to hear from you clearly.
No,
Have you spoken to Moreland Wilson?
For that question, I will seek clarity based on what was played before I respond any further on that matter.
Oh, very well. So let's look at the constituency now, because in the 2020 general election, MP Wilson secured 6,148 votes, and he defeated Wickham McNeil. Yeah, but Western Westmoreland is a very tough constituency, and the last time prior to Moreland Wilson winning that constituency was in the 1980 general election. How confident you are of victory, considering now that the constituency clearly is divided among the Labourites, and you are heading into a general election which is constitutionally due by September? Will you be able to reunite those within the constituency, the Labourites, to ensure that you win that constituency whenever the election is called?
It's a big responsibility. Can only be done by the team effort, and the necessary organizational structure and support within the constituency is here. What we will be doing is building out the respective areas of concern. Where I've identified weaknesses, we'll ensure that we strengthen those. Mm-hmm. We have enough assets, human resource, and enough votes within the space to ensure that we can win the next election.
Are you confident of victory?
There's no doubt that there are challenges, and that is political representation. But the good thing is that we are cognizant of the challenges, and we are already formulating the necessary strategies and recommendations that have been made to implement them to ensure that we put the machinery in place to win.
And quickly, because I know we're running out of time, but you were once a PNP councillor and later switched to the JLP. What would you say to your critics who they're now questioning your loyalty to the JLP?
My loyalty is unquestioned. The fact is that having switched in a short time, I was able to win the local government elections. I didn't win it doing it alone. It was a team effort, and it is the constituents who are the real power breakers in this. And the same constituents remain within the constituency. And I have no doubt that I have demonstrated without any uncertainty that I am who I am and will remain so. So therefore, the real question is, how do we go about providing greater representation for the people? And that is really the direction I want to take any conversation going forward as it relates to Westmoreland.
And what about of your prospective challenger, Mr. Hales? I understand he's made quite a few inroads in terms of polling in that constituency.
At this point, well, I've seen a video with him on TV stating that I have made the Guinness Book of Records. So I am now wondering if he will be actually seeing the same type of polls that he was used to before now. The fact is that we will not take anything lightly or take anything for granted. We will do the necessary groundwork, build out the interpersonal connectivity that is necessary on the ground among the people, and put forward the manifesto for the constituency, the party's agenda, and allow the people to make a choice. And I have no doubt at the end of the day they will choose a better party and a better candidate.
Well, that's all the time we had for this, listeners. Thank you, Dr. James, Counsel for the Sheffield Division and the prospective JLP candidate for Western Westmoreland. Thank you for joining us.